Hey guys, it's Alvin Taveras, and I'm the CEO, president, and founder of Build to Rent. Over the last several years, we've been able to help hundreds of investors buy new construction properties for investment purposes, also called Build to Rent. So, as you can imagine, we get a lot of the same questions about Build to Rent. So, I figured I'll take some time to answer the top 5 most Googled questions about Build to Rent. The first question is, what is build to rent? And a lot of times we use some of this terminology as if it's new. Build to rent has always existed. Anytime that you build a property for the purpose of renting it out, that's considered build to rent. It could be an apartment complex, a condo building, a single family home, a quadplex. Anytime you build a property for the purpose of renting it out, that's build to rent. Now, there are a couple of things that changed over the years in the way that these build to rent properties are designed, and they have several common elements to them. One of them is modern build to rent properties feel much more like a home. So, a single family home was not typically seen as an investment vehicle. But we've learned over the years that they're often easier to manage, they take advantage of a lot of appreciation, and tenants tend to stay a lot longer. So now single family homes have become much more considered an investable vehicle. We've also seen that apartment buildings have been redesigned to fit more of the modern build to rent structure. And they often include elements like community shared spaces. And so the goal is that today's renters, a lot of them are not looking to become homeowners. They actually see the benefits of renting for the long term as a way of giving them more freedom, more flexibility, and the ability to move around. The key is during the last housing crisis, a lot of millennials, such as myself, saw their parents lose their home. And so real estate for them is no longer the surefire, guaranteed part of the American dream. A lot of them view building more experiences, being more mobile, being able to focus on their career, no matter where it may be, working from home, traveling, and having unique experiences as being more of the American dream than previous generations. The second most Googled question is, why is build to rent growing in popularity? There are a couple of factors, but I want to focus on two demographics. One is the baby boomers. And so a lot of the baby boomers are empty nesters, which means that they bought their mega mansions, their McMansions, or whatever type of houses. And now they're at the point where they don't need that much space anymore. They also do not want to do repairs or fix or customize their homes. They care a lot more about their quality of life. And so today's seniors are not like your previous seniors. So, like my grandparents were always there for us as grandkids. Today's seniors are more active, they're more mobile, they're going on cruise ships, they're living more adventurous lifestyles, and they don't want to spend all of their time repairing and maintaining a home. Also, downsizing makes a lot of sense financially. So that's one demographic. They prefer build to rent. The others is millennials, where we're more mobile. We don't necessarily want to customize homes. We care a lot more about experiences, a lot more about traveling. In today's environment, owning a home can also be more expensive than renting one out, especially with today's interest rates and the need to do repair and maintenance. Additionally, for developers, it's a lot easier to scale when you're working with that same model in multiple different locations. It's also very difficult to find cheap houses. So, coming out of the '08 housing crisis, there was a lot of cheap inventory out there where there's a lot of opportunities to fix a house up, rehabbing it. In today's market, those are almost impossible to find. It's very difficult to find a property 30% below market value that after rehabbing it, then increases the value enough so that it makes sense to rehab it. A lot of times today's new construction properties are selling at the same price, if not cheaper, than a resale home. So if you can develop your own properties or buy new construction in bulk, that makes a lot more sense because of the economy of scale. We also get a lot of unique lenders and developers specifically focused on the build to rent space. So this is now a product that's in demand. And for an investor, you can get new construction property, faster appreciation, less repair costs, all with better financing. That all makes a lot of sense. The third most Googled question about build to rent is, what are the benefits for the renter? This is a great question. So, because build to rent is multiple different types of properties, there's going to be multiple different benefits depending on the type of property. But generally, what they all have in common is that they're all brand new, which obviously you get a never lived in space. It's cleaner, more modern. And so when you look at older homes, Sometimes they have lower ceilings. Sometimes they have more like wood floors that make noise. These are all newer built homes. They're going to be cleaner, more efficient, which means a new kitchen, new cabinets, new bathrooms. That's all brand new just for you. They also tend to have more communal space. So in a single family home, you're going to have your own driveway, your own garage, your space in the backyard. If you want to have a dog, you have an extra kid, you have room to grow inside the property. If it's an apartment complex, you're usually going to have more shared space, like a shared pool, shared gym, some additional amenities, some gathering places you can meet at. So the other benefit is for a lot of renters is that there's been a lot of them built. And so what that means is that you're actually getting a premium product without actually having to pay a premium for it. So because these are built at scale, a lot of renters are actually getting a very good value. So we have new construction quadplexes. These are 2 bedroom, 2 baths available in Jacksonville that are renting for about $1,100. That is cheap to be inside of a major city. Obviously, there's some built to rent properties that are going to go a lot more higher end. But generally, a rule of thumb is you want to go where the greatest demand is. And for most markets, going to be more of that affordable range. There is significant amount of risk chasing really high rents in this space because if you don't get it, there's a long way to fall. Versus if you fight for affordability, if you build for affordability, you're going to get a lot more demand for that rental because that's exactly what they're looking for. Question number 4 is why are investors interested in buying build to rent properties? The list of benefits go on and on for days, but I'll share a few of them with you now. So obviously, new construction means much lower insurance rates. On average, a new build will cost about 30% cheaper to insure than an older home. And there are a couple of big reasons why. So obviously, you get a brand new roof, which means you automatically qualify for a wind mitigation discount. You're also going to be built to the latest code. The property being a brand new construction home is not going to have any insurance claims against it, which obviously brings down the insurance rates. Because the property is also brand new, it's also going to have the highest demand for them. So tenants are willing to pay a premium for it as well. Because these properties are also being built in more emerging, growing cities, it also means you have much more room for appreciation. In fact, the first couple of years of a new construction property is generally where the greatest amount of appreciation occurs. So obviously, you're going to have a lot less repairs and maintenance. And so the key is your tenants are paying down security deposit. And because the property is brand new, we know exactly what was damaged and what wasn't, because that's the first tenant that's there. And we know exactly who did it. They can't blame the previous tenant. But you also get a 210 warranty on a lot of these properties. So if there's anything wrong that the builder did with the property, you also can now do a claim against the warranty and have the warranty company pay for it. Also, all of the appliances of the home, the dishwashers, the microwave, the oven, and the air conditioner are all going to have their own manufacturer warranty as well. So we typically say within the first 5 years of ownership, maybe you want to budget 2 to 3% for maintenance and repairs. Then maybe at year 5, you go up to 5% towards maintenance and repairs. And then at year 10, you want to boost that up to 10 years of maintenance and repairs. I generally recommend doing a 1031 exchange at year 10. The key is you do not want to pay for these repairs. Once items are due for replacement, sell it, leave it up for the next investor to repair. I always ask the question, what's the ROI on a brand new roof? If you spend $20,000 replacing a roof, how much can you increase the rent? Zero. Your tenants don't care. Additionally, a brand new roof does not appear on an appraisal. So you may get more demand, it may answer more questions, right? You might have less concerns if the property has a brand new roof on it, but generally you're not going to get 20K back on the appraisal. So when the property is 10, 15 years old, sell it, leave it up for the next investor or the next buyer to go ahead and replace, and you go ahead and buy another property. Typically at year 10, you can get a property about 4 times more expensive. So if you're looking to level up, own the property for 10 years and then buy a property that's 4 times more expensive. And that's how you go ahead and grow up. The fifth most Googled question about build to rent is how do you find the best investment opportunities in build to rent space? The short answer is going to be buildtorent.com. And what we do is we spend a lot of time working with builders, negotiating, packaging the best deals for our investors. When I was an investor and I wasn't a broker, I always hated working with real estate agents because you would ask them, hey, what do you got? Send me your inventory list. And they'll say, well, let's check the MLS. And it's like, dude, you don't have a deal. I don't want to talk to you. So here at Build to Rent, we have the deal. I always look at ourselves as like a giant warehouse filled with deals. So if you're looking for single family homes, we have them over there. You want some duplexes, we have them over there. You want some quadplexes, some built to rent communities, we have them over there. We have built-in inventory. We're actively selling a lot of these properties on volume. A lot of these deals are already pre-negotiated and they're all off market. So if you're looking for the best place to buy new construction properties for investment purposes, go to buildtorent.com. That's your short answer. So guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for sticking around all the way through the end. Now I want to hear from you. So if you have a question, please leave it below. I'll answer each and every one of them. I may even do a video specifically on your question. You never know. And to get more information, go to buildtorent.com. I'll see you next time.